Happy Monday. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. And I chose today's topic because I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of folks, and we're starting to get into, first quarter is going to be over here in a couple weeks. We're getting into second quarter. For those of you that are in real estate, we're getting into spring market, summer market. We're starting to see things pick up. And so there's a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of burnout is going to start to happen. And so I started thinking about a topic, and what I've realized is that so many of us, myself included, and people that I've been talking to, are either worried about the future and they have a lot of anxiety because they don't know what's coming, or they're still focused on the past and having regret for things that they haven't done or decisions they've made, yet having a very difficult time being in the present. And 2 years ago, I went to Italy and did kind of like an eat, love, pray trip. And I took one book on that trip, and it was called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I wanted to share that with you tonight as my gift, because if you have not read that book, or if you have not followed him, it will change your life. It will change the way that you look at being in the present moment. And, the past fills us with a lot of regret, right? I, of all people, know this, right? I've made some pretty bad decisions in my life. And if I were to stay in the past, there's no way that my future self could be what it is today, because I would continue to be stuck in the past and not believing that I could become a different person. And then the future fills me with anxiety. Someone asked me last night, I was in a pretty intense conversation, and they said to me, well, what do you want? Where do you want this to go? Or what do you want to happen in the situation? And I simply said, I don't know, because we're not there yet. I try to spend as little time in the future as I can. One of my mentors, and I'll call him by name, Ben Kinney, I remember one time I was pressing him, what's your vision? What's your vision? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And he's like, Bryn, I'm not a 5 year kind of guy. I can tell you where we're going to be at the end of next year. I can tell you where we're going to be a year from now. And I didn't realize it at the moment how much power was in that statement. Because if we plan too far out in the future, we think too far out into the future, we're wasting time and energy that could be spent in the present moment building what we're building right now. And so the only thing that we actually have control over is the present moment. We can't change the past, and we can't predict the future. We can make whatever is happening right now happening. And I'm going to share with you a few things I do to help me stay and become present in the moment, because emotional freedom really comes from accepting things that we have absolutely no control over. And most of the time, this is trying to control the outside when all we have is control over our insides, right? We control the way we act, we think, we feel, we behave. All that other external things we have absolutely no control over. So where are we choosing to put our focus, and where are we choosing to put our energy? And for me, the first thing I always do, and it's a trick that I learned from very, very wise people before me, was be where your feet are. And when I say that, I mean, when you start finding yourself focusing on things that you can't control, meaning you're stuck in the past, you're worried about the future, I would challenge you to look down at your feet and just ask yourself, where are my feet? My feet are right here. And that will give you a sense of grounding into the present moment, right? Because here's the thing, at 6:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, none of my problems need to be solved right now. All I need to be is in the present moment, because the more I'm in the present moment, the more I'm going to be in the flow. And the more that I'm in the flow, the more productive I'm going to be, the happier I'm going to be, the better I'm going to feel, because I'm focused on only the present moment and things that I can control. So be where your feet are. Where are my feet? They're right here. And that's going to give you a grounding presence. Then you're going to have to slow down, right? In order to focus on what we can control and be in the present moment, we have to take time to slow down. So something that I've been sharing with folks recently is we have a lot of unfinished projects, and we have all these things, and the next, it's slow down and then avoid multitasking, right? If you haven't read the book, The One Thing by my friends Jay Papasan and Gary Keller, go buy that book. Multitasking is a lie. It's impossible for us to do more than one thing at a time. So we need to slow down, and we need to prioritize. And sometimes slowing down, and this is a tip, a hack that I've been giving folks, is taking 30 minutes at the beginning of your day, before you open your email, before you check your voicemail, before you start the day, 30 minutes of focus time on something you're trying to accomplish. So today I challenged my leadership team that their 30 minutes a day needed to be strategically focusing on their business and getting out of in the business. So before they go into the business for the day, they're going to have 30 minutes every morning to strategize and take a tactical approach to executing on their goals on the business. So you can't chase two rabbits and expect to catch either one. And that's what starts to happen in these busy times, is we have all of these open initiatives and all these open projects because we're not focused on one thing until completion. We're going on to the next thing. Remember, focus is follow one course until successful. So we have to slow down, right, to get back into the present moment, figure out what the priorities are, and then execute accordingly in the moment. Not focusing on the future, not worried if this doesn't get done or that doesn't get done. Slow down. What do I need to do right here? Where are my feet? If you're also having a hard time getting grounded, something that really helps me is fresh air. My dear friend Jeline Snell, I remember asking her, hi Wilson, I remember asking her one day, how do you do it? How do you keep your emotions? She is so phenomenal at keeping her emotions between the lines and staying focused. And she said, Bryn, I just have to remind myself that I'm just a speck in this big universe, in this big world. I am simply a speck. And none of these things at the end of the day really matter, nor can I control them. So sometimes I need to go outside and just look up and see the tops of the trees and see the clouds and realize that all the things I'm worried about in the big scale of the universe are really nothing, right, in comparison. And if I can do that, then I can get back focused to slow down long enough to start coming up with a plan on how I'm going to execute on the things that I can control. And then the last piece, the last step that I would say is meditation. And meditation does not have to be this grand thing. You do not have to sit in silence for 10 minutes. I certainly didn't when I started. My journey to meditation was a kitchen timer, and I set it for 30 seconds. And for 30 seconds, I tried not to think. And then I did it for a minute. And then I actually did Oprah and Deepak Chopra's 21-day meditation, and it was all guided meditation. And then I even bought this thing that you can buy that puts this like thing on your head. I can't remember the name of it, but someone will put it in the chat. But I have one if you want it. I'll get you the name. And it monitors your brain waves. And when you're in a meditative state, you hear birds chirping. And when you're not, you hear a tsunami in your head, right? And so there are ways that you can start getting to the point of mindfulness and being present and being able to quiet your mind and slow down. Yet it does take time for you to slow down and focus on what's most important. And meditation is something that can do that for you. It can get you grounded. Yet, just to start, be where your feet are. When you start to feel out of control, when you start to feel that there's so many things going on, just look down at your feet and say, where are my feet? They're right here. And what's the one thing that I can do right now in this present moment that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? So I hope this was helpful. Have an amazing week. If you want to talk more offline about this, just reach out to me. If you want any topics covered in the future or you want me to revisit something, I love when you guys send me that because I get to dive into things and I know that it's helping. So have an awesome week and we'll see you next week. Bye guys.